Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for another round of the Is Harry malicious or just incredibly thick game. As an aside, when I put that out on Twitter, the overwhelming response was both. I've always thought the latter. I've always thought he's just a bit of a thicko who doesn't really understand the consequences of his actions. I've changed my position this week to the former. I think he is malicious, I think he is dangerous, and I think he is a threat to the monarchy. This comes after an extraordinary BBC interview that he did this week after his case in the courts to try and squeeze money out of the taxpayers failed. We have that clip ready to go. Let's see it.
I would love reconciliation with my family. I don't know how much longer my father has. He won't speak to me because of this security stuff. But it would be nice to reconcile. If they don't want that, that's entirely up to them.
There were several other extraordinary moments, and here's the thing. Harry knows. He must know that there is a long-standing principle in the royal family that they don't air their dirty laundry in public. He knows that these sorts of comments would hurt the king. He knows that the media, yes, including GB News, picks up this sort of stuff and speculates upon it. He does it anyway for his own ego and his own self-gratification. Now, in times gone by, strong leaders in this country dealt with unruly family members by chopping their heads off. Now, for better or worse, times have moved on, but there is something that this king, if he has guts, still can do, and that is strip this grifter of his titles immediately, as well as his grifter wife, because they do not deserve them.
It didn't start with a bang, it started with a whisper. Whispers swirling through Westminster, whispers that something was coming, something big, but then the whispers turned into emotion, a real one. Not a TikTok tantrum or a trending hashtag, a formal petition tabled inside the House of Lords, the very heart of British power and tradition. That's when everything shifted. They're not coming for Harry's popularity, they're coming for his title, the last official link he still has to the institution he once belonged to, because if this petition succeeds, they won't just be cutting off a label, they'll be severing the final thread connecting Prince Harry to the crown that raised him. And they're not doing it quietly.
The publicly chosen royal family, the Beckhams. We've known Brooklyn since he was growing up, since he was a little baby, when Victoria was in the Spice Girls, David was at the top of his game playing for England. I mean, really, when there is a story about them, they are the front page of every newspaper here. So to give that a bit of context. And then, of course, David is now a patron with the king in a couple of his different ventures. Victoria is regularly seen and being invited to Buckingham Palace for various different...
The petition is real. Filed inside the House of Lords, backed by figures who don't chase media attention, they shape national policy. And they've set their sights on one target, Prince Harry's Duke of Sussex title. The room wasn't filled with shouting or outrage, just steady resolve. Lawmakers who've navigated royal controversies for decades now, discussing how to end one man's royal connection. There's no spectacle here. It's calculated, deliberate. Every word of the motion written to hold up under scrutiny, built on legal precedent and political support. And Harry? He's livid. Sources close to him say the rage is boiling over because no matter how far he's travelled or how many times he's stepped back, that title has followed him. It's opened doors, added weight to interviews, made every venture seem royal even when it wasn't.
Meghan Markle, now we do love her, but that love seems to be not widespread because there's fresh YouGov polling showing that Meghan Markle's fan base has reached a new low. She's got a favourability rating of just 20%, Kinsey. This is the lowest on record.
What an awful anniversary gift, Rita. It's her wedding anniversary. She's been so relentless lately trying to sell us the new and improved version of herself. And people don't want it. They've realized that the person that they liked in the beginning, except for you, because you saw it immediately, didn't really exist. So they have no emotional attachment to this woman in the way that they might still feel connected to Prince Harry. They're just like, we don't need you, we don't want you. We don't really know you, and we have no interest in you.
Now it's hanging by a thread. What Parliament's doing could collapse everything his brand stands on. And behind closed doors, the institution isn't slowing down. It's tightening the grip. Parliament is backing the petition with the Titles Deprivation Act of 1917, a law originally used to cut ties with royals who betrayed Britain during wartime. It hasn't been touched in decades. Until now. The signatures aren't slowing down. Tens of thousands across the UK are adding their names, many from Sussex itself. It's not outrage anymore, it's organised. Inside Westminster, the motion is gaining traction. MPs and lords from different parties are pushing it forward, not for attention, but to act. Because the more Harry speaks, the more the Crown's image takes a hit. His choices aren't being viewed as personal anymore, they're political. And using a royal title while making headlines abroad has started to look like exploitation. Parliament isn't reacting out of emotion, they're following a process. Quiet meetings, drafted motions, legal checks, and now the pressure is on.
That's entirely up to them.
There were several other extraordinary moments, and here's the thing, Harry knows, he must know that there is a long-standing principle in the royal family that they don't air their dirty laundry in public. He knows that these sorts of comments would hurt the king. He knows that the media, yes, including GB News, picks up this sort of stuff and speculates upon it. He does it anyway for his own ego and his own self-gratification. Now, in times gone by, strong leaders in this country dealt with unruly...
Harry didn't just step back from royal duties, he stepped into American politics. He criticised the First Amendment, aligned with partisan causes, and took positions that no working royal ever would. In the UK, the monarchy is expected to remain politically neutral. That expectation doesn't end at the border. So when Harry used his Duke of Sussex title while speaking on sensitive US issues, alarm bells started ringing in Parliament. The lawmakers began calling it title laundering, using a royal name to legitimise activism overseas. To them, it's not just poor judgment, it's a threat to the integrity of the monarchy itself. Because once royal titles get mixed with politics, the institution risks becoming a tool, not a symbol. And now, MPs are openly questioning his right to carry the title at all. Not behind closed doors, in public forums, on the record. They're not concerned with what he believes, they're concerned with what he's representing. Without accountability, and with the Crown's name still attached, Buckingham Palace hasn't issued a single statement. No pushback, no support, just silence. But silence doesn't mean indifference. It means control sources close to the palace say King Charles is fully aware of the petition. He's watching closely, but keeping his distance, not because he doesn't care, but because he can't afford to be seen as acting out of emotion. This isn't a father disciplining a son, it's an institution managing a crisis. And that's exactly how they want it to look. Parliament takes the lead, the monarchy doesn't get its hands dirty. The punishment appears impartial. The message, however, will be loud. Harry's title wasn't taken by a bitter parent, it was revoked by the system he once belonged to. As for Prince William, insiders say he's already made up his mind. No objections, no gestures of sympathy, just quiet approval behind the scenes. Not because of personal rivalry, but because, to him, the title still means something, and Harry's turned it into a billboard.
Thing. She's not that interesting, which could be why she's roping in controversial model and TV host Chrissy Teigen to feature in the second season of Meghan Markle's cooking show With Love, Meghan. Tell me about this.
No, here's what kills me, Rita. Meghan Markle has built much of her public image around speaking out against online abuse and cyberbullying, frequently referencing her own experiences to support her advocacy. That's what makes her connection to Chrissy Teigen.
Harry and Meghan didn't fade into private life. They built a business, and the foundation of that business was royal branding. The Netflix deals, Spotify shows, book launches, even children's content. They all leaned on titles, not Harry and Meghan, but the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. The distinction mattered. It still does. Each appearance, each press release, every contract announcement began with their royal labels. And that wasn't by accident, it was strategy. Critics call it title trafficking, using a symbol of public duty as a tool for private profit. And now, even their children's names carry those inherited titles. All while claiming they stepped away for privacy. The contradiction doesn't go unnoticed. Not by the press, not by Parliament, and definitely not by the public. This wasn't a retreat, it was a calculated rebrand. Keep the glamour, ditch the responsibility. Sell stories, sell drama, but keep the crown in the credits. Now, lawmakers are drawing a line. Titles aren't souvenirs. They're not marketing props. They're supposed to stand for service, not subscriptions. King Charles hasn't lifted a finger publicly. No interviews, no statements, no interference. But behind the scenes, he's watching everything unfold. Insiders say he's aware of the petition, aware of the public pressure, and aware of how far Parliament might take this. He just won't be the one to lead it. Not out of softness, but calculation. Charles doesn't want the optics of punishing his own son. He wants distance. If Parliament makes the decision, it's institutional, not personal. And for a monarch trying to modernise the crown while holding it together, that distance is crucial. So he waits. And while he waits, Parliament moves. MPs tighten the language. Lords prepare the motions. They're doing what the palace won't, drawing the line Harry refused to see, and William, he's already made peace with it. No objections, no statements, just quiet alignment with the people inside those chamber walls.
So questionable. Tegan has openly admitted to harassing and urging a teenage girl, Courtney Stodden, to harm herself. Meghan can't play both sides.
Yes.
You can't campaign against digital cruelty while embracing someone who once embodied it. It sends the message that cyberbullying is only worth fighting against when it happens to you or fits your narrative.
And again, not just the ugly online behaviour from Chrissy Teigen, some of the things she has said.
Because for him, the title isn't a fashion statement, it's a legacy. And every time Harry uses it to push content or controversy, that legacy takes another hit. Take away the Duke of Sussex title, and Harry becomes something else entirely. No more royal introductions, no quiet wait in boardrooms, no diplomatic soft power at fundraisers or charity galas, just a man with a famous last name, and a growing list of controversies. The brand he's built, from memoirs to documentaries, relies on one thing: the illusion of royalty. Strip the title and that illusion crumbles. The cachet, the mystique, the subtle influence, all gone in an instant. In Hollywood, perception is currency, and Harry, without a title, is no longer a prince in exile. He's another celebrity with a messy public history and a high-stakes podcast deal. His military service, his charity work, his place in royal memory. They all get overshadowed by this one shift, because without the tie to the monarchy, the brand becomes something else. Vulnerable. The impact wouldn't just be symbolic, it would be structural. The title isn't just prestige, it's leverage. And right now, Parliament is positioning to cut it off at the root. This wouldn't be a first. In 1917, during World War I, King George V invoked the Titles Deprivation Act to strip royal relatives who sided with enemy nations of their honours and status. The law was clear and it worked. More recently, Prince Andrew lost his military roles and royal patronages after the Epstein scandal, another move that proved no title is untouchable. Now, lawmakers are asking, if the system could act then, why not now? They're arguing that Harry, while not guilty of a crime, has broken faith with the crown in every way that counts. Attacks in interviews, personal grievances packaged into multi-million-dollar deals, political statements made while holding a non-political title. It all adds up. Parliamentarians are framing it as a matter of consistency. If the institution holds others accountable, it must do the same here. Otherwise, the titles mean nothing. And that's the point. This isn't about revenge. It's about preserving what's left of royal credibility. The slow unravelling of Harry's royal identity has reached its tipping point. What began with family tension and tabloid drama is now sitting on the desks of lawmakers, backed by precedent, powered by public support, and dressed in the language of national interest. The monarchy hasn't moved to protect him. The palace is quiet. Parliament isn't waiting. They've stepped in, not as spectators, but as enforcers. What once seemed like exile now feels like extraction. One deliberate step at a time, dismantling what remains of Harry's royal connection. No more soft diplomacy, no more mutual silence. This is a clean, legal push to draw a permanent line between Prince Harry and the institution he walked away from. And if the title falls, it doesn't end with a speech or a press release. It ends with a vote, a law, A sentence stripped of honour, quietly stamped into the record. The monarchy won't need to say a word. The judgment will speak for itself. The title isn't just ceremonial, it's the backbone of the Sussex brand. Strip it away, and the ripple effect hits every deal Harry and Meghan have made. Past and future. Netflix signed the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. So did Spotify. So did publishers. That royal tie elevated their content beyond Hollywood gossip. It gave them an aura of authority, a touch of diplomacy, a narrative of exile rather than celebrity. Without it, the dynamic shifts. Now it's just Harry and Meghan. No titles, no mystique, no shield. What remains is a portfolio built on victimhood and nostalgia. And in an industry that burns through stories fast, the royal angle was their strongest card. Without it, the spotlight dimmed. Meghan can pivot. Harry can try, but they'll face the same reality every public figure faces without legacy to lean on. Relevance fades fast, and Parliament knows this. That's why this moment matters, not just as punishment, but as a reset, a way to draw a line between royal blood and media exploitation, a way to say, if you leave it all. No speeches, no royal drama, just quiet paperwork. If Parliament passes the motion, the Duke of Sussex title disappears, legally, permanently. No more royal introductions, no more soft power, just Harry Windsor. The monarchy won't make a scene, it doesn't need to. The silence says it all. He left the institution, but kept the title. Now, the institution is taking it back. This isn't revenge, it's closure. And once it's done, there's no going back. Because when you walk away from the crown, you don't get to keep the crown's name. If you enjoyed this breakdown, please like and subscribe to the channel.